Hey besties, welcome back to another episode of the Baddie Besties podcast. I'm your host, Alyssa.
And I'm your co-host, Samira, aka Samski, and we have a special guest today. And before I get into it, because you know this is Hey Barbie, so if you haven't watched any of our Hey Barbie series, Barbie, she's a trailblazer. And according to BuzzFeed, she had over 250 jobs dating back to 1960. Barbie is booked and busy. She's that girl. She was a president, an astronaut. And today, Barbie, we're going to talk about PCOS, birth control, everything in between with Ellie. And she has her business, and she's honestly a girl's girl. She lets you know what not to eat, what's in your food, and just sheds light on everything important because what are we eating?
Yeah, what is going on?
What's going on? Ellie's going to let us know today.
Exactly.
So we're going to get into our first segment, the health awakening, and just hearing more about your journey. Where did you begin? Where did you start? And just talk about your personal. I know you share it all online, but for people that haven't heard.
Yeah, of course. Well, thanks for having me.
Of course.
So excited. I'm so excited to be here. And I don't really get a chance to talk about how I really got started because obviously people want the goods, the tea of what's going on. How can I live a healthier life? So, yeah, that's really when I started, I never thought that I would be where I'm at today. And I think that's a lot of people where you look in hindsight and you're like, what the heck, how to end up down this path. But I struggled like so many other women today that struggle with painful periods and acne and chronic bloating. And we're just told that it's normal and it's fine. And we live in this very low vibrational energy all the time because we almost get consoled by other people. They're like, oh, it's so normal that my periods are also really bad. And you're just like, okay, I guess we're all not doing anything about it. This is just how we're supposed to live. Especially when your doctors are telling you it's normal,
fine.
It's part of it, it's womanhood, maybe you'll grow out of it. And you're like, okay. And you kind of just live like that. So I was in my early 20s. I was a personal trainer. So I was fit as hell. I'm not really concerned about how much I ate. It was just more getting my macros in and just enjoying the foods that I wanted within, my protein, my carbs, and my fat. But I had really, really bad periods. I would need to always take some sort of Advil, or I have to even sometimes call out of school just to I couldn't even focus. It was so bad. I had really bad cystic acne, and I went to so many doctors and specialists. And of course, it's just the same thing, birth control, Accutane. And I'm I'm only 23 years old. I don't think I should be on all these different types of medications. And eventually I started realizing that a lot of the things that I was eating and using on my body contained a lot of things that could mess with my hormones. And nobody told me that. I had to figure that out on my damn self. And I was okay, what's going on? Why is this marketed as clean if it can mess with my hormones? So I kind of just did a self-experiment back in my early 20s. And I just started swapping things out little by little. I'm okay, I can find a cleaner shampoo or a cleaner body wash. And without these ingredients that I was kind of just researching myself, legit good old Google, I'm is this bad for me? Can this mess with my hormones?
I love that.
Yeah, I'm I didn't freaking know anything. So eventually I went and got my certification. I did a lot more research. So now I'm okay, I have the real studies behind it. But back then I was just hey, could this potentially mess with my hormones? That's it. And it kind of just started with, me being inquisitive about it. And I'm what's the worst that could happen? I'm already at rock bottom right now. I have the worst periods ever. I got migraines every single day. My face is covered in acne. I'm it literally cannot get worse. What's the worst that could happen if I just clean up my diet a little bit, whatever,
Yeah. So were you looking hey, this has this in it on Google, and then how did you find the products that were good alternatives?
Yeah, so back when I started doing that, it was 18 or 19. We didn't have half the stuff that we have today. The clean beauty market has exploded. You can find mocktails. We didn't have that shit back in 2019, so it was much harder back then. And as I started to share really on social media, and this was early days, I had 2,000-3,000 followers. It's mostly my family and friends, people from college and high school that probably just hate followed me. I don't even know.
Hey, they were watching.
Yeah, they were still watching. They were lurking. They were learning and lurking.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't really have a big following, but I'm I'm just gonna be vulnerable because I knew I had a couple at least cousins or friends that had painful periods. Everyone has probably dealt with that. So I just kind of started sharing. I have like literal like Snapchat videos of myself holding up prescriptions from like, I was like, I don't know if I want to take this. Like I was so hesitant, you know, because I also grew up like my whole family's in the medical system. My mom works at a cancer hospital. My grandma worked in hospitals her whole life. So like that was just the system I was used to. But yeah, back then it was really hard. But as I started sharing, brands would kind of find me and they'd be like, hey, we have a clean protein powder. And of course I would look at it and it would confirm like, yeah, actually this is clean. And then that's kind of how I started becoming an affiliate for brands like early on, like pre-COVID kind of. And just promoting it that way. And then people wanted my reviews of like, okay, why is this clean and what are you looking for? And that's kind of how I got into the education of this is what I'm looking for a protein powder versus this is what I'm looking for in like a greens powder or, you know, certain supplements where certain chemicals, quote unquote, are, you know, make sense in certain products versus in other products it doesn't make as much sense, right? Like why are there dyes in, like I saw protein powders with like glitter in it. Why do I need glitter in a protein powder?
We're gonna have to get into the tea because there's some brands that are claiming to be healthy, and I know I recently watched your story. We're gonna get into it soon, but like Bloom, for instance, like we gotta get in and expose a lot of these brands that are claiming a lot of things and are so harmful for you. But it's really sad as well because a lot of people don't know. Like we're in a world we're constantly moving. And like you took the initiative to go ahead and Google it, but like a lot of people don't.
At the time. Yeah. I made it my full-time job. So it's like I had to make the time and make it legit my job. So I'm like, if I can make this, you know, my job to do this all day, like I'm trying to make it easier for other people because that was what I wish I had when I first started, right? I'm like, I need to look for skincare that is clean but also effective for my acne because there's a lot of like acne safe skincare, like, you know, the brands like Cetaphil, where everyone like that was what was recommended to me. That's just not clean.
Oh my
you
gosh.
know?
And like the recent La Roche-Posay brand.
Yes.
What was found in it? Like that's crazy.
Benzene, and it's like a chemical that is actually not listed on the actual product, but it's a chemical like side effect from just chemical interactions that happen within the product.
Wow.
But if you know how to like look for ingredients, which I do like normally, you can find the different types of combinations that would create something like this. So it's pretty easy to avoid when you know to look for it, but the average person doesn't. And because it doesn't have to be listed on the bottle, they can sell it on shelves. And even if they recall it, there's usually like a 2 to even 5 year time frame where they can keep it on shelves before completely taking it off. So you'll still see those products because this happened with sunscreen. Like a lot of sunscreen brands happened 2 years ago. I still see those brands on shelves today because they give them leeway to.
That's a lot of leeway.
I know it's way too much leeway that I'm comfortable with. But people don't know and they think, oh,
it's the new one.
They see the news and they think, oh, this must be the new one, but it's the same exact product. They just give them a time frame to like pull everything from store shelves.
Wow. Do they always have it? Do you know?
What do you mean?
Do they always have the benzene? And because like, in my understanding,
typically, it would be. It's a chemical reaction that happens with two different chemicals that can be present in the formula. So if the formula was always that way, it was always present. It's just we have thankfully independent organizations like Consumer Reports and things that are going in separately and testing these things, and then they're like, hey, just so you know. So it's not just, and this is like another thing I try to explain to people, it's like when you know how to look for ingredients, you can avoid a lot of these like recalls and stuff. You know, I like on Live Healthily, like my brand, we have over 550 products. We've never had one of the brands be recalled for like toxic products because it's like we know what to look for and how to go around those you know, chemicals a lot of the time. But just because they're testing La Roche doesn't mean that it's not present in other similar products. It's just that they tested that one brand. But if they tested everything that was in Sephora, we'd probably be shocked to see that that's an ingredient that would be in a lot of different skincare products, which is scary.
Very scary. And don't worry, we're going to get into Healthily.
Yeah.
But let's get into navigating the world of clean eating. The transition from conventional, because going on your page, from fragrance-free hair and skincare products and how it impacts your health. I know the girlies, the besties, nowadays everyone's posting their hair care routine, get readies with me,
skincare, all that.
I know, it scares me.
I know.
It can be done it can be done in such a great way. Like even right now, I'm wearing all like low tox makeup, so it's 100% possible to still have
what
the look
brands?
that you want. I use Ilia right now.
okay.
Ilia's great. I love RMS. I love Say. Those are all you can find at Sephora.
Okay.
Those are really clean brands. You have OG, which is another great, like they make like multi-use sticks. Those are some like easy ones that you can find like just at Sephora if you're like shopping and want to swap. Even Kosas has a lot of good clean options. Yeah, so it's like 100. Like these are brands that I'm grateful today that we have because we didn't have that back in the day. Before I'm like using beet powder and shit.
Beet powder.
Ain't nobody trying to do that. You know,
Like, you were using that?
yeah, I mean, you're just trying to use natural stuff, and a lot of the more natural brands. Like there's levels. I wouldn't say I'm like. There's a lot of brands even today that make like very natural makeup, and they literally use like beets and other things to pigment things. But you're not going to have the wide range of pigment that most people are used to. Like if you're trying to do a crazy like eye look, you're not going to have that. So there's like levels, and then the next level up is like makeup that doesn't have any endocrine disruptors, but maybe has a couple like of safer dyes that aren't made necessarily from plants, but they're still usable. Maybe they come from different natural sources. And there's like a wider range of pigment because especially for like complexions, there's only so many foundation colors that you can get from like natural things. And people already struggle with that with regular chemical laden crap. So imagine in the natural beauty industry, it's even harder. So sometimes I like a little bit more leeway, especially with makeup products. Skincare, I'm a little bit more like, okay, there's certain shit I don't want in my skincare. Like I don't need dyes in my skincare. Like I'm just trying to hydrate and avoid fine lines and wrinkles and all the other shit that we worry about as we go through, but yeah, so when it comes to certain things that you look for in your shampoo and your conditioner, like the easiest thing is the fragrance, and the fragrance can have hundreds of thousands of chemicals that the brand doesn't necessarily have to tell you, right?
Oh my gosh.
Some larger brands like Febreze or something like that will have like you have to literally go through the website and find where they have everything because legally I think they do have to put it out there. But most people don't even know how to read all the fragrant.
No, I thought fragrance was just like smell nice.
Yeah, I mean,
no, but a lot of people do. A lot of people do.
How are they getting that fragrance, right? Like we have.
How are they making the smell nice?
So, but how does it directly impact your health?
Yeah, so fragrance can contain ingredients like phthalates or parabens, and these are things that literally can mimic different types of hormones in the body, like estrogen. So it can really impair your hormone production. So, and estrogen is so big, especially women that struggle with painful periods. It's usually some sort of like excess estrogen that they're getting in the body. So it's like, where is that coming from? Like we're really messing with our hormones when we're exposed to so many things. And one thing I always tell people is like, it's about a low tox lifestyle. So when I first started, I lined up all of my stuff, my skincare, like every moisturizer that I had and all my shampoo, and I flipped everything over. I'm like, all right, how much of this has like synthetic fragrance, right? Because you can have things with like more natural fragrance. And for me as a brand owner, I'm always asking brands like, all right, where is your fragrance coming from? Because that's the important part. Like not all fragrance is bad. We still want to smell good and all the things, right? But it's like, where is that sourcing coming from? And that's what's important. So at least on my website, like we're always asking the brand like, all right, where's your fragrance coming from? But if you're at the store and you don't have that type of access, I'm like, it's so easy to just like avoid it unless you can go home and like email the brand. And then it's like, we're wasting time. Like now we're doing too much. Yeah. But for the most part, the average woman puts around 186 different chemicals on their body every day.
That's crazy. Because you're talking food, you're talking makeup, you're talking about hair products, you're talking all that. Because
I mean, even in your clothes, like the
your clothes.
I'm switching to like slowly organic cotton stuff because I'm like, I'm not spending $250 for a plastic dress.
Wow.
Like
that's crazy because most people wouldn't even think about the fact that you put something on your skin because it doesn't feel like it's going in you. Yeah. Unless obviously like skincare is and lotion, but clothes still like it can still go into your body.
That was like an end level. I talk about everything in like levels. Like that's like end level. Like I've been doing this for like 6 years now. And now I'm finally like, all right, let me start switching out some of my clothes, But like the first things I started with was like the easy stuff. Obviously my food was the most important thing. Yeah. And then like, that's like level 1 for me is like started swapping out my food and like all that stuff. And then level 2 is really like skincare and perfumes. Like we think about so many women that have thyroid problems and your hair is falling out and you're really just exhausted and you're spraying, all these endocrine disruptors directly on your chest and on your armpits. And that's really important to start swapping out, any type of fragrance, parabens, phthalates, and even like plastic. Like I don't store food in plastic anymore.
Wow.
These are all things that can affect your estrogen, and we really have to protect our estrogen as we age, and especially if you want healthy periods. So it's like, not to scare people and be like, you have to throw everything out, but it's really about your toxic burden. That's really what it's about. So we all have a toxic burden, and that's how many toxins your body can handle. If you start to show symptoms that your body is stressed via like acne, or your hair is falling out, or you have poor energy, or you have painful periods, that's a big sign. Your body is telling you like, hey girl, like we have so many things that we need to worry about that you're burdening us with. We can't focus on your, reproductive health. We can't focus on your hair health. Like that's usually the first thing to go.
So how do you scale that? Like how do you get that number of how many toxins your body can take? Like what is there a formula to this?
I mean, not really. It's really about being in tune with yourself, right?
Okay.
Like, so I get so many women every day that DM me and they're like, oh my God, my like hair is falling out like crazy, and I just have no energy, and my periods are painful, and like every time I'm in my luteal phase, I feel like I'm going crazy. And it's like, those are signs to yourself that you should probably start evaluating. Okay, what am I eating? Am I moving enough? Am I building muscle? What's my blood sugar like? How many toxins am I exposing my body to every single day? Like, not saying you have to give up, all your favorite things, but we'd be shocked that like today we're in such a better position than we were a couple of years ago. You could probably find a swap for anything that you love.
Yeah. We love a dupe.
We love a dupe.
Yeah. So,
oh my gosh.
100%.
Yeah.
Like today it's like lucky. Back then I went like supplement free for a year because I literally could not find anything. Like we didn't have half the brands we had today.
Wow. Okay. So then what are your tips for our listeners or Baddie Besties out here, for the girlies who want some help with identifying and being able to like genuinely select the non-toxic options?
Yeah. I mean, first and foremost, that's literally why I started my brand. So it's like
that's
the easiest thing.
Yeah.
It's like obviously started Live Healthily.
Yeah.
So people can do that. We have like so many different products. That's like the easy thing is like, I tried to create this storefront that is a safe place for people to shop, whether it's hair care or skincare or protein or whatever the heck you need. Like even candles without synthetic fragrance. Like you still want your house to smell good. You don't gotta just open the windows no more. Like you could also have your house smell decent, That's the first thing. But especially if you're in the store, I think the easiest thing to look out for is, that synthetic fragrance that's lurking in everything. Like you don't need fragrance in your face cleanser, things that just don't make sense. I really like to avoid any aisles that just like smack me in the face with the scent, like if you're walking through like the detergent aisle in the supermarket, you're like, okay, you want to stay away from those, and just find better alternatives. But yeah, really getting away from like the synthetic fragrance is probably the biggest tip that I have for like people who are first starting off. And then you can get into like the nitty gritty of, other things, but especially for things that you're putting on your body, that's like the number one thing to stay away from.
Yeah. So Healthily, is this a place where you can, did I pronounce it correct? Healthily?
Yeah. Live Healthily.
Yeah, Live Healthily.
Yeah.
Got it.
I love it. It's so cute. And
yeah,
it's
so cute.
It's a tie to her name.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So for me, for me and the girlies, how does this work? Is this somewhere that I can actually go and buy stuff, or is it like referencing?
We need a storefront.
What is that? How does it work? Yeah, we'll probably put a little screen recording swiping through too, so the girlies can see.
So it's not just like an Amazon situation. We have a warehouse out in Delray Beach. We wholesale everything, so every single product I touch, and I make sure everything's like exactly what I ordered. And it's brands from across the U.S. and Canada. So I really try to find brands that you wouldn't necessarily find. Like a lot of them aren't even on Amazon. They're just like really new, and they're just like all really clean brands that I found like over the past couple of years. Like, and there's brands that we've had since day one. Like they're just so consistent, so clean. A lot of small businesses, a lot of women-owned businesses.
Love that.
Wow.
So we've really sourced them in one place, and then you leave kind of like walking into a Sephora. You leave with
amazing.
a Sephora bag, but you leave with a Live Healthily.
Like a one-stop wellness stop.
Yes.
But so can people physically go where it's online? No, that's why I said we need a storefront.
I know we do
need a store.
One day manifest, but that'd be amazing. So it's kind of like that, like the same concept. Like I always thought like Sephora was so easy for me to walk in and just buy like every brand that I like, because it's very rare that you like every single product from one brand, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's why these companies do amazing. And I just thought the same exact thing with Live Healthily. I was like, I loved so many different brands, and I'm like, not only do I want to get my clean protein, I want to get my, you know, my collagen that's like, you know, no artificial ingredients, and I want to get my skincare, and I want to get my shampoo, and maybe I want to get a candle for my mom, you know, like I want to get all these different things. How do I do that? Where do I go without spending 2-3 hours at 5 different stores? Because like
or online, on Google,
I think,
or online,
right.
I really love that you just simplified the way to have, because it can be hard when you go
it's
to,
so overwhelming.
Yeah, it's so overwhelming where you go.
Overwhelmed.
I mean, even me, when I'm like, I'm on my health kick, and I'll go and look at the ingredients, and generally to
You're
sit
like,
there,
what?
I'm like, what do I do? I went on a whole matcha craze. That's how I'm like, I'm on my, I'm on my P's and Q's now, and I'm like, and that's why I was like, I need to get mine from Live Healthily, because honestly, there's so many things in the markets, and I do not know how to narrow it down. So for all the besties that generally want to find it, you can get it all very easily at Live Healthily. But I wanted to ask you really quickly, I know you curated the space. One, like how, just from an entrepreneur standpoint, for anyone that maybe wants to start a business, like what advice do you have for them? I know you started on social media, but just curious, because you went from like, I mean, now you have a warehouse, right? So like, how was that transition from like starting off just sharing your story online to like an entire warehouse? I mean, that's completely inspiring.
Yeah, it was buck wild. Like it was,
wow,
it was crazy, because like, so I got laid off in 2020, like everybody else in the damn world.
Shout out pandemic.
I know, I was like doing social media for a travel company, and they're like, girl, ain't nobody traveling right now.
Over for you.
Yeah, it was game over for me. And I'm like living in the Bronx at the time with my, you know, then boyfriend, now husband. So we were like brand new, like, what do we do? Because now I'm a stay-at-home girlfriend, and like
love that for you.
It was great times of your life. So that's when I got my health coaching certification to like really solidify. But because I was like kind of making, like, I remember at work I would like make my little Canva review posts, and I post them, and I had like doing in between meetings and stuff. And then I got laid off, and I was like, oh my God, what do I do? Perfect. Now I have all the time in the world. I'll just go get my coaching certification. I'll become an integrative coach and just help people. So I was kind of coaching for a little bit of 2020. And then I had like less than 10,000 followers at the time. So I was like really just hoping anybody would listen, you know, at the time. And then I started, even with that, I was considered like a micro influencer, because even now micro influencers, like you got at least 15,000 followers. It's crazy. Like the bar has just leaped. So at that time, it was, I didn't expect to even like start, like I never had an idea to start a company in my life. I just know people were asking me for, you know, swaps. And then I'm like, oh, like this brand reached out to me. This is a good option. And then I kind of started accumulating like affiliate links, and I had like a bunch of affiliate links. And I'm like, this is how we do it. Like, this is just,
this can't be the only way.
Yeah. Like, this is like what's going on. Like, you have to go to this site and then this site, and then you're banking on liking everything from that one line. I was kind of brainstorming with my boyfriend at the time, now husband, but he went to school for business. I went to school for broadcasting. So I was like, this really ain't I really don't know.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I'm clocked out. So he was like, we were kind of brainstorming, like, what if we drop ship? And I'm like, well, that's kind of like Amazon, and like people are already kind of doing that right now. And then that's when we kind of got the idea for like Live Healthily, which is like, well, why don't we just source all these? Like, why don't we reach out to a couple of these brands, see if they wholesale? And I'm like, where the hell are we gonna do this from? We just had like a guest bedroom in the Bronx. So that's what we did. We had like 5 brands with like 15 to 20 products. And, you know, I have videos of us just like having it in our little guest bedroom. He had his computer in the corner, and I'm sitting there on like 2 fold out beer pong tables, like
no way,
like boxing everything myself, and like writing every single note out myself. And that's what we did, and we sold out like the first day, like 99% of the products. Like I think we had like 2 or 3 candles left.
Wow.
And then we just kind of like built, and then we added like another brand, and we added another brand, and we hit 7 figures our first year, and I started with less than 10,000 followers.
Girl, no.
I know. I was
chill it. That's the story.
I know. It's the craziest shit. Cause like I've always, I mean, today it's all about followers.
Yeah.
But I really built a platform off of people just trusting the shit out of me.
It was your genuine energy.
Yeah.
Like people felt
girl,
like
I'm struggling like you. Like, get out here.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that's really what like really helped solidify, you know, the trust and integrity. And like to this day, like I'm in my DMs with all my customers and like all my followers and shit. Like they're like DMing me like, hey girl, like I'm looking for a new shampoo, and I'm like, all right girl, I got you, like these are some options like from the website, like really helping them navigate it. And we do everything like behind the scenes, and we're always showing people like we are like not like we're at the end yet, right? Like so much more growth. So we're still like, you know, we're still little fish, right? So that's always been really important, that we like keep the trust, and that, you know, every brand speaks for itself. Like I'm not here to always be like, oh, trust me guys, it's really good. Like you don't have to be a rocket scientist to read the labels on Live Healthily. You know, you can just read it and be like, this looks legit. Like there's no weird wonky chemicals where I'm gonna be like, what the hell is this? And it's like easy Google search will be like, okay, yeah, this looks good. Which I'm like, y'all probably don't even have to do that, because I'm telling you, hey, look at it, you know? So we keep it really simple, and we just kind of been exploding from there. And I didn't expect it, because again, like I wasn't even trying to grow my page. I had less than 10,000 followers. I remember like on launch day, or like when we were thinking about like the branding and everything, I'm like, oh, I hope I get at least 10,000 followers so I could like, people will buy my stuff. You know, I was like, so like, I'm so nervous for it. And like, they pulled through for me.
They did.
Yeah, they're like my little organic ambassadors. So
Period.
Everybody's just like rooting for us. And to this day, like people will DM us, like remembering those days. You're like, it's so crazy, like watching, because I would record every time we were like, because I was marketing back then. Like I was recording everything that we were doing, like Jenna, I'm packing your order, like, but like that's just what we were doing. So it was really like grinding it out. And then we moved to Florida, from the Bronx to Florida, because we were like, we're young, like we ain't got no kids. Like
let's do it.
Let me move somewhere with like sunshine all the time.
Girl, I'm from Boston, so I already know.
Yeah, and then we got a warehouse, and then we grew out of our first warehouse in 3 months, and now we have our bigger warehouse now, which we're probably gonna grow out of like soon. So it's just like, and we have employees and shit. I'm like, what is going on? I know, it's crazy.
She's a real girl.
Round of applause.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's crazy, because I don't really talk about like this side of it at all.
No, you gotta pat your back. You better.
I don't think because I didn't get into it for that. You know, like I always just thought it would be like the side hustle, and I'd be a coach full time. And like that's what I thought I would do. And then here I am. I'm like, this now takes up all my time. So it's crazy to think about.
I'm curious too, because you talk about like PCOS on your page. You talk about obviously painful periods.
Yeah.
What are some testimonies maybe that you have from people that have switched to Live Healthily products, or just even like from the information that you shared online?
Yeah, I think that was the biggest driver for us, is because we didn't do any ads at all until year 3. We're in year 4 right now. So we only just in year 3 started doing ads. But up until that, I was always screenshotting like real DMs that I was getting, and people were like, hey, like ever since I started swapping out like my nasty protein powders, like I don't have gut problems anymore.
Wow.
And like implementing just like, because I also just give people like life advice on like how to manage different types of things, and you know, how to simplify your life. Like it does not have to be complicated to live a holistic lifestyle. And people are like, oh my God, like I've been struggling with like migraines half my life, and when I got rid of, like, I didn't realize how much fragrance was in my stuff, and now I don't have that anymore. And like even the PCOS girlies, like it's so hard to navigate. And just like a couple different shifts and cleaning up a couple different products, I get DMs all the time where like, oh my God, I can actually, like, I'm actually ovulating now, and like I'm regular again. And it's like, it's not even like I'm selling like a miracle like one-off supplement. I'm selling a lifestyle to people. Like it does not have to be that complicated if we do little things every single day. And that's like actually like our motto, like our original motto was another day, another chance to live healthily. Because it's like, we're just looking at it like a step at a time, right? Like every day is a new opportunity, and it doesn't have to be this big overhaul of our life where we got to do this like, you know, throwing ourselves into 75 hard and like doing all these crazy things, you know, like
they're not attainable and consistent. A lot of people, they start and they're not like
everyone doing 75 hard every damn year.
Damn, not me.
It's everyone's New Year's resolution. Everyone's New Year's resolution.
Every year you got to do it. How sustainable is that? You know, so I've been on this journey for like 6 years now. I'm gonna be 32 this year, so I've been doing this since my early 20s.
Oh my God, you don't look it. You look young.
Thank you.
It's because she lived healthily.
Period. So yeah, it's just one of those things where I just really try to encourage people to, you know, do it slow. Like I didn't come, like, now I'm swapping out my clothes, but I started where everyone else starts, like, day
Right.
one, you know?
Yeah, I think that's amazing. I definitely would love to get into that because who doesn't want to live healthily? I do. I'm just like, I don't want to Google everything and take the time to do everything. So it's just great to have someone who not only provides the resources, but also tells you, like, it's really not that hard. It's more daunting mentally, I think, than actually slowly swapping for, like, an alternative that does the same thing.
And the fact that you're impacting so many, like, women's lives, like, I've seen, I've seen your page from, like, PCOS, even, like, the mamas out there, the soon-to-be moms, and having acne, it impacts your confidence. I mean, and this is just, I'm going to pretty much go into this next segment here, like girl-to-girl relationships and just real talk, confidence. Really quick here, we need to set the record straight. Ooh. So what is one misconception about wellness influencers that you love to set straight? Or maybe just let the people know.
Yeah, I mean, people, like, I'm on both sides, right? So now as a CEO, like, founder and an influencer, because I get a little bit of both, like, people be getting full-on scripts of what to say and how things are helping them without truly trying it or it helping them at all. And especially because, like, I came out with my own product, that was, like, one thing that I knew as an influencer I didn't want to do for other people. Like, I tell you, like, hey, this is what the product is. We want you guys to try it and see how you like it before even saying that it's doing this and doing that. Because when we start seeing brands coming out and saying, like, oh, my God, greens powder, like, cures your IBS, that's because they were told to say something like that, and they're piggybacking off of maybe one person said that it helped them, and they're like, let's run with that.
Or the paycheck is paychecking, and
they get paid a lot, girl.
And so they'll say whatever they want to. So they'll say whatever they want to say.
Yeah. Whatever is gonna push that envelope, and especially now with TikTok Shop, it's like you don't even have to technically be an influencer to sell something on TikTok Shop. Like, you could just be like
anyone,
like a random person, which is great because that's good for organic marketing. So I'm not gonna shit on anybody that wants to promote anything, but that's where people who are going to be more desperate to get those couple sales to be recognized, and they'll say anything. This is where we see, like, just crazy remarks being said, and people have to really use their discernment. Like, even as somebody as a supplement, I'm like, I'm never going to act like my supplement's a cure for nobody, because it's not. It's all about the lifestyle and everything you put behind it. Like, no supplement is ever going to cure anything that you have. And if somebody is selling it as that, always be skeptical, and just really trust your intuition. Like, I always ask myself, like, am I already doing all the things that I could be doing before I start a new supplement, right? Like, I'm I'm a big supplement junkie. I have a pretty, like, legit supplement routine that I'm always, like, upgrading based on my lab work and stuff. So supplements have been pivotal for my life, but I'm like, I'm not gonna go start a new supplement if I'm, like, not sleeping well, I'm barely eating, I'm not even, like, moving my body, and then I think that the supplement's gonna help my hair grow back. Like, no,
you're like, I need to do the basics.
Yeah, I'm in fight or flight. My hair's like, bye.
Yeah, it's leaving with you.
Yeah. Bye, everybody. So you really have to, like, think about am I like, be honest with yourself, like, am I really doing all the things that I could be doing as foundationally before I start adding on to all these other levels?
Absolutely. How about when it comes to maybe giving advice to your younger self, right? Back when you think 6 years ago, maybe 7 years ago, before you even started this journey, what advice would you give your younger self?
Oh gosh, like, just really not stress so many of the things that I think was so important, because obviously I'm 32 now, so I'm, like, looking back at me at, like, 21, 22, and I thought
we got it.
Yeah, I'm like, all the problems I thought were problems, all those problems become nothing when your health isn't where it should be. Like,
health is wealth, right?
That man don't matter if you got, enough. That job don't matter. Like, all those things do not matter, because once your health starts to go under, that's the only thing that's on your mind. And that's all you have. You can't have girls' night out if you're always, like, bloated and you feel like crap about yourself. Like, I remember being that way when I was really young, and I just did not put my health first, and it's nice seeing the younger generation too. Like, now you see girls in, like, their early 20s, like, they are caring about their health, and even, giving up drinking and swapping a couple of drinks a night for mocktails instead. Like, that is wellness right there. Like those little things, people might not see it, but like, shit, that's kind of wellness.
Shout
right
out your drink. Shout out your drink.
Minerals and Chill.
Minerals and Chill.
That's my adrenal mocktail baby.
Wow.
Which I was never going to create a supplement, but all the years of stress that I dealt with, I did a little functional testing with my naturopathic doctor, and it turns out I had something called like HPA axis dysfunction, which I've never heard of that before. No doctor ever told me it was a problem. But it's essentially when your cortisol is like high for so long, it becomes low.
Wow.
So your adrenal glands is what creates the cortisol in your body. So every time you're stressed, if you're sitting in traffic or you're like arguing with somebody in the comments section, that's all a stress response, you know?
Phil.
Yeah.
The trolls be trolling.
Exactly. And they be stressing you out for no reason. And then it leaves you depleted because your adrenals use vitamin C to create that cortisol response. So every time you're like a little stressed, your body's like, okay, we're going to use vitamin C to create cortisol. Most people are not getting enough vitamin C in their diets. You're not drinking 4 glasses of orange juice a day. Ain't nobody doing that. Ain't nobody got time for that.
No time.
So it leaves you depleted. And people obviously use electrolytes to replenish minerals that are lost during in your sweat, but not minerals that are lost during stress. So when you're feeling exhausted after a stressful day,
OMG, I'm gonna need your drink.
I know.
We need the drink.
I actually brought you guys a couple of samples.
Thank you. Amazing. We appreciate that.
So when you are exhausted after a long day, if you're like emotionally exhausted, you're like, I'm just so tired, like emotionally, that's usually because your adrenals are literally depleted. They don't even have the energy to create that cortisol response, because that's not always a bad thing. Cortisol is what wakes you up in the morning. It makes you do stuff like this. Like it puts you on. You're locked in when that cortisol pumping right. Yeah, you are locked in. But when you're constantly doing that all the time, you're not replenishing yourself. You're tired. You need multiple cups of coffee. You need energy drinks.
It makes sense.
Exhausted. Yeah, and most people don't even talk about the adrenals. Everybody's like,
it just makes sense.
Yeah, everyone's like, oh my god, cortisol. I'm like, no, your cortisol is like your best friend if it's nourished properly, if you're feeding it right, Right. So that's what I created Minerals and Chill for, is for like just the stressed out girlies that need nourishment,
chill in their life.
They need a little more chill.
They need
in your
chill.
Life. Yeah,
love that.
I'm one of those.
All right, we're gonna go into a quick fast round. One word, first thing that comes into your head. Okay. Barbie Energy Edition. What's your favorite Albanian dish?
Oh, probably Bradek.
Go to workout playlist song.
Oh, R&B, like 90s.
Wellness trend you swear by.
Oh my God, sunlight, like getting sun, like there's nothing.
Ooh, okay.
It like brings me back to life.
Dream collaboration or celebrity?
Oh my God.
With a brand or a celebrity. Dream collab.
Oh my God, I don't even know. Oh my God, maybe like Olipop.
Oh, okay.
I love Olipop.
Call
I've
her.
already done like a cool, like they invited me to like a event, and I was like, that's so cool. I feel like we would mesh.
That's a good one. Okay. And one wellness myth you'd love to cancel.
Oh my God. That like, just any supplement cures anything. Like once I hear a cure, I'm like, bye, I'm out. Peace.
Right.
Out the door.
Okay.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Y'all heard it here first.
Ladies, we may stir the pot.
It's going to get hot.
But trust.
You just hit the jackpot. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ellie, for letting them know, setting the record straight, and sharing Live Healthily with us, because we all need to live healthy.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, check out our girl Illy, and Live Healthily as well. And you know where to find us.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Love you.